Hello, hello. Welcome to Sugarheads Live. Hi, my name is Sugarheads. The glow up is coming. The glow up is coming. All this gonna be fixed. All this gonna be fixed, and everything else gonna be fixed. Eek. Anyway, no, because I hear the haters talking. I'm just saying I don't really have to answer them. Usually I don't, but just in case people who do like me is wondering, it's coming. Um, Yes, my name is Sugar. Welcome to Sugar Hits Live. Today's conversation is how to take care of a newborn. I have Sugar Heads Lugs. I have sugarheadsclothing.com. Sugar on Facebook. I have Sugar Marketplace on Facebook. Today's topic. The reason why I wanted to do today's topics is because, I see a lot of commercials. I watch a lot of the YouTubers. And I just see things. And I just wanted to give some people some advice on some of the stuff that I had to go through. And I had to learn. So it's going to be a short video. I had to learn as a young mother because I was a young mother. And time passed and slowly but surely I learned how to take care of my son, And I was a teenage mom. So this is the first thing. I'll tell you a story. When my son was young, he was sick. And he kept getting sick because it was cold in the apartment. And I kept taking him to the doctor and what have you. So one time he was in the hospital for a couple of days. And he was crying. But in the meantime, and as a young mother, I stayed in the hospital day in, day out. I didn't leave the hospital. And the nurses in them was like, you can go home. I'm like, no. Because I was a new mother, so I didn't want to leave my baby, So I slept on the hallway chair and thing. And then they tell me, well, there's a room that you could sleep in. Everything happened to me when he was in a hospital. My period came and everything. But in the meantime, while that happened, I was observing all the nurses. They would just leave the baby crying. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't want to leave the hospital. The babies was crying and they would just leave the babies, So then a nurse came to me and I asked them the question, why aren't you tending to the babies? So she told me, she said, ma'am, the babies are training you. If the baby start crying and you go to the baby, every time the baby cries, the baby's going to be training you. So when they want something that they may not need or want or anything, they start crying and they would train you like that. You have to train them. It hurts. She said it would hurt your heart. It would break your heart because when you do that, you feel that you're not a good mother, but you have to do that. You understand? Because when my son was young, I couldn't clean, I couldn't cook because at the time, I couldn't really afford a high chair for him. Not a high chair, but one of those rocking chairs, because back in the day, those chairs didn't come with the stroller. So I didn't get it as a gift, and like I said, I was young. I couldn't afford it. So anyway, finally I got one. And with that training, I did it on my son. My son, every time I left the room, just to go get something, he would cry, and then when I'm cleaning the house, washing the dishes, because my mom was a stickler, he would cry because he would be in the bedroom in his crib, and I couldn't take it. And then when he got sick, that's when I learned that the nurse told me, that even though it would break my heart, I have to do it in order to cut him out from crying all the time, just to get your attention. And I tried it. I'll be at the door watching while he cried, making him not see me because, babies wailing breaks you down. It breaks you down. It makes you feel like, oh my God, what am I doing wrong? But sometimes you're not doing anything wrong. See, babies, they're used to hearing your heartbeat. And when they don't hear your heartbeat, because they was in you. And when you're not hearing, when they're not hearing your heartbeat, they get upset. So when you're feeding them, they're hearing your heartbeat because they're by your breast. You're feeding the bottle. I bottle fed. I tried breastfeeding, and my breast was so engorged that I couldn't breastfeed. So I bottle fed. But I tried. People make you feel guilty about not breastfeeding. Don't let them feel guilt. Don't let them make you feel guilty. Do not let them make you feel guilty. Whatever makes you comfortable is good. As long as you get some good feeding for the child. You can also pump your breast and put it in the refrigerator. You can do a lot of things, or you can give them the feed that the manufacturers make. My grandmother didn't really like that, but she always made fresh food for him. My grandmother on my mother's side. And I'm getting back to the hospital story. And his grandmother on his father's side, she liked to pour the powder to keep him. She's like, girl, that boy is hungry. So she used to pour extra feeding in the bottle, but it made him constipated. It used to fool him, and it used to put him to sleep, but it made him so constipated. So I was like, what to do? You understand? So then, I started reading. I started asking people, started asking mothers, older people. You don't add as much as the powder, the feeding to the milk. After the milk, you don't feed them full milk. You leave some room for water so the water can flush everything out and he won't be so constipated. And, things like that. Yeah, feed him some room temperature water. Room temperature water. In the summertime, feed him cold water. Okay? But in the wintertime, room temperature. Don't no scalding hot water for your kids, okay? Room temperature water in the winter and cold water in the summer. I used to add a little glucose sugar to the water, but black kids, they already suffer from diabetes enough. So, I'm not going to suggest that. What I do suggest is put a little apple juice or applesauce in the water and let him taste it like that. Because once you get a child addicted to sugar, that's all they ever going to want. So don't start them off with the glucose. Try the applesauce in the water so they can get a flavor. Because sometimes water is bland. So they want a flavor. Because like I said, the milk has taste. So they're looking for something that tastes as sweet as milk. But you have to do it gradually. You can't take them from one end to the next. Okay? Back to the hospital. So yeah, the nurse would tell me to let him cry, but watch him. You understand? Don't let him see you. So I did that. I mean, my heart was breaking, but I had to do it, and it worked. It worked in a matter of days. He was trained that when he cries, I am not running to him. Then I started having more free time around the house. I can go clean the kitchen, wash the dishes, cook some food, make him prepare his meals, prepare my meals, and do whatever, watch a little stories back in the day. Because now he's quiet. So then he started being a good kid. He wasn't crying for nothing. So he was one of the kids. He was so quiet. You had to go in the room and check on him. I'm like, what is he doing? Nothing. He was just in his playpen with his toys playing by himself because he's an oldie child. So then, the second thing, like I said, come in. Why is he so quiet? So then you go and you see he's fully alive, and he's playing with his toys because now you trained him how to play by himself, how not to train you, how not to cry and expect someone to come running to him. That's one of the lessons. Second of all, when he was sick, the old wives saying you got to cover them up head to toe? No. If your child has a fever, if your child has a cold, pneumonia, whatever, you have to strip them down. Or else they can go into shock. Strip them down to their diaper. No top, no t-shirt, just a diaper, no socks. When a child has a fever, you strip them down to the diaper. That's it. Feed them liquids, which is water, which is apple juice, applesauce, liquids, not food, nothing milky. When a child has a cold, that his nose is stuffy and snot coming out his nose and everything, no milk. No milk. You feed him clear liquids. I say him because I have a son. Clear, but girls too. Clear liquids. Okay? Clear liquids. Meaning water, applesauce in the water. Apple juice. Diluted. Do not give them the full apple juice. Okay? Because some of these companies put sugar in the apple juice. Or make it so sweet with the natural taste. So you take half the apple juice, put water in the bottle, and feed him. Or 1/3, put in water and feed him. Okay, so he gets the taste. He's full. He gets the taste. He gets water intake, and he's satisfied. He won't be so finicky. Okay, don't feed him the full bottle, because sometimes I be tasting some of these kids' food, and it's so sweet. These cookies and stuff, it's crazy. It's sweet. So you have to dilute some of these children's foods, especially babies. These baby foods are so sweet. So anyway, I'm cooking. I'm hungry. I'm sorry. I wanted to show it to you because it's air fryer fried chicken. And I was talking about that the other day, how you don't have to put anything in it and it comes out just as crispy, but I'm not going to do that. So anyway, that's what you do. You dilute the food. My grandmother, she used to throw away all the food and make fresh food. She wouldn't even put it to the side or say, I'm going to give it to somebody. She used to throw it in the garbage and don't tell me. And she would go get fresh carrots and potatoes and stuff and feed them. And I'm looking for the bottle to take him, like if I have to take to the babysitter. She's like, no, I throw that out. I don't want my grandson. I don't want my grandson eating all that preservatives. And I'm like, but I spent money on that stuff. I could have gave it away. But that's my grandmother. That's how she was. So, yes, when children have a cold, when children have a fever, you take off all their clothes, leave on their diaper, and you leave them no socks, no t-shirt. Yeah, even if it's kind of, cool in the house. Yeah, because that coolness would help the fever go away. Okay, that coolness, and then when you feel them and this body is sick, is cold, you put on some socks. Then you wait another hour or so, you put on a t-shirt, a armless t-shirt, because you're trying to bring their body temperature down. They can go into shock. So all this wrapping up and all that stuff, no. You can put your child into shock, thinking that's helping, keeping them warm. No. You got to take off all their clothes. And make sure that they secure, nothing to stick them or anything on the bed. Make sure you put stuff around it, or in their crib. Don't put no toys around them. Have the flow free. Have the flow, because at that time they don't want to play anyway. So you have the crib or the bed or wherever you keep them clear, nothing, because they might roll, they might touch, they stifling, they need air. They need air from all over the place. Okay? So don't put a whole bunch of blankets. No. One cotton blanket, not the one that sheds and everything. One cotton blanket, not blanket, one cotton sheet that covers the bed, and you put them on top of it. Don't cover them with nothing. You think they're cold, but they're not. You're trying to bring down their the body temperature. That's the most important thing, okay? Bring down their body temperature. The next thing is, the reason why you see a lot of children, a lot of babies with bald spots in the middle of their head is because of their cotton hats. Yeah, they look cute and everything, but they make the child bald. What do? You get a silk cap, just like for adults, because the cotton is pulling out their hair. Don't let your infant wear cotton hats, because they're gonna get that bald spot, If you have to let them wear it, put a silk cap under it. Put a silk cap under it and let them wear the cotton thing, so to prevent them from getting bald. Because that's what's pulling out their hair. It's not the brush. It's not that you're not combing their hair. It's the cotton thing on their hair. Whatever they sleep on. No, you don't have to let them sleep on silk sheets or anything like that. But get good cotton sheets that does not. You know how the blankets look like it's shedding? Those furry kind of blankets? Yeah. Most of the caps for the babies are that material. Don't put that on your child's hair. Don't give it to them as blankets. It's pulling out their hair. Because a lot of them are blankets too. Don't put a blanket on it. Use a plain old top cover cotton sheet as their cover. If you have to put on one of those shedded blankets, put it underneath the fitted sheet so they can have cushion on the mattress. But don't let it get close to their bodies or their hair. It's pulling out their hair. Okay? So from now on, get a silk cap for your child so they won't lose their hair. Okay. That's 3 things. What's the other thing? When they're teething. When they're teething, it's going to be a problem. You get some Anbesol. You take the Anbesol on your finger and put it around their gums. You take their pacifier. You put it in their fridge. So always have 2 pacifiers. Always have 2, okay? 1 pinned to their t-shirt. Everything should be cotton. The good cotton. I'm not talking about the shedding cotton. Cotton t-shirts. And the other one should be in the fridge. So when you take out the one in the fridge, you give it to him, and you take the one from him, wash it out, and you put it back in the you put that one in the fridge. You take a little Clorox with a lot of water, soak the pacifier before you put it in the fridge. Soak the pacifier in that for about about 1 or 2 minutes. Rinse it out, put it in the fridge. So you're killing the germs. You're not reinfecting him if he has a cold or whatever the case may be. And everything is clean and whatever. You're not getting the Clorox in his system. It's not going to hurt. But I know you young mothers are paranoid. But you wash it with a little bit of Clorox, a lot of water. Soak it for about 1-2 minutes. Rinse it out with some warm water. Put it in the fridge. Okay? And let that freeze. When he's teething, he's going to be finicky. So even if you have 3, do that. So you can have 2 in the fridge, 1 on him. So when it gets warm, you take it from him, put it in the solution, rinse it out, put it in the fridge. And you take it. Okay? Make some ice cubes. Okay? Make some ice cubes, and you can't because he's a baby. How can I get the ice cubes now? Because you cannot put anything too small next to his mouth. But what you can do, you can take an ice cube and you can take a very clean handkerchief, put the ice cube in the handkerchief and let him suck on it. Just make sure that handkerchief is clean. Okay? And let him suck on it. So he'll feel the cold against his gums. You understand? And he'll be gnawing on it. And that the gnawing on the hard substance would help his gums. But the cold also would numb his gums. Okay? Because it's not all the time that you have the Anbesol around. And, you don't want to always rely on it. So anything cold would help numb his gums. Would help alleviate the situation of the tooth. Okay? So that's what you do. You put it in an ice cube or ice cubes in a very clean rag. His rag. I'm not talking about your rag or your towel. His rag, his baby clothes. Make sure it's clean and you let him suck on it. Okay? Or back in the day, it had those popsicle makers. that you can make for the children, you can do that. But like I said, you don't want anything, especially ice melts and it gets small. You don't want it next to his mouth because he might swallow it and he's going to choke. Okay, so no. Put it in something that you can maneuver, so just in case when it start getting smaller, you can maneuver to pull it away from him. You understand? Don't have something that he can make a hole in it, because the kids, that he can make a hole in it and it might slip out. No. Have a thing on it so you can pull it away from him, just in case when it gets small or whatever. Never put anything small next to a baby. Okay? The only thing that you do is you chopped ice you can put in his mouth. Chopped ice. And I'm talking about finely chopped ice. I'm not talking about the one with the ridges that can cut him. Okay? Finely chopped ice, you can put it in the blender, finely chopped, like ices, and feed him or her. Feed him the ice the time of teething. If he's used to juices by now, like I said, do not give him too much sugar too quickly. You can make it like a little icy. Add some apple juice to the ice, freeze it, and give him frozen apple juice that's iced. Okay? Next thing is, I just had it in my thoughts. I just had it. Yeah, but those are some of the things that you can do. Next thing. This is one of the things I did. Do not let any adult kiss your child on the mouth. Near the mouth, nothing with their bare mouth. If they kiss the child, let it be an ear kiss. Oh, he's so cute. His cheek to her cheek or his cheek, and she's kissing the ear, but that signals that she wants to kiss the baby. Because adults, they sucking dick, they eating pussy, they got all kind of stuff around their mouth, whatever. They giving it to your kid. When you see your kid, all that bumps and stuff like that, the hot air from, it's not necessarily herpes or anything like that. The hot air from an adult's mouth hitting a child's skin breaks it out. That's one. And also, an adult can have herpes and give your child. So the two things are separate, but those two things cause stuff to grow on your child's skin and face, and then the doctor tell you, well, your child has simplex herpes, and you don't know how they got it. Some adult kissed them. They get offended. They used to get offended when I said, no, kiss his hands. Kiss his hands. Oh, you think he's a king or a prince or something? No, kiss his hand. You an adult. You do adult things with your mouth. Let's be real. You do adult things with your mouth. I don't want your adult mouth next to my infant. Because I don't even want you to kiss me. Because you do adult things. I don't want you to kiss my baby. So if you get offended, it's you. But it's a baby. Think. Don't get offended. Think. Be real with yourself. You do adult things with your mouth. Now you want to kiss a brand new infant with that same mouth? Come on. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's not nice. He's just an innocent baby. So what, you hate the mother? So what? It's a baby. So you want to give the baby herpes just because you don't like the mother? Because you got it. Why are you kissing up on somebody's baby? Why are you taking a piece of the food in your mouth and feeding it to somebody else's child? Or even your own child, knowing that you're sick? Why are you doing that? Why are you drinking out of their bottle just because it's your child? Or you cleaning their nipple, the nipple? You know you're sick. Yes, it's your child, but you know you're sick. Why are you doing that to that baby? Why? And yesterday I was talking about guys smoking weed and stuff and passing it, and they lick and stuff and passing it. You know you got something. Why? And you know your boy. Why are you taking the weed from him? Get your own weed, please. Spend the extra $5. Put it towards the weed and make your own weed. Okay? Stop passing it from person to person, because you're risking your girlfriend's health. Because whatever you get from these other guys, your friend, you're going to give it to her. Don't do that. And your kid. So please stop kissing babies when you know you have something. And please stop passing the weed when you know you got something. Come on. We do adult things with our mouth. It's not decent for you to kiss a child when you know you smoke heavy, cigarette or weed, when you know you're a heavy drinker. All that heavy stuff, that breath, is making all that stuff on that child's skin and that child's face. Yes, just by kissing that child. Oh, I'm not doing nothing. I'm just kissing him. No, you're doing a lot. It's not your child. It's somebody else's child. I don't think you should do it to your own child either, but hey, we love our babies. We want to feel like we want to eat them up, so we want to kiss them on the mouth. Fine. If you don't have herpes or nothing, fine, kiss your kid. Yeah, because that's how we show affection with our newborns. We want to kiss them up. They so effing adorable. You want to eat them up. So all you can do is kiss them on the lips. All right? Good. You hug them. You kiss them on the cheek. Kiss them on. Yes, that's you. Do not let anybody else besides you and the father. And I'm talking grandparents too. Grandparents, oh my God, they get irate. They get upset. How the fuck you mean I can't kiss my own grandchild? They cuss you out. But I'm like, you're an adult. Do not kiss my child in the mouth. Do not kiss my child on his cheek. Give him cheek to cheek. Do an ear kiss. And I know you love him. But you just finished drinking a 40 and a pack of Cools and you want to come kiss my kid. No. And you smell like sick. No, I'm sorry. No. Kiss his hands like a king. That's what I used to tell my family. Kiss my son's hand. They were like, fuck out of here. Kiss his hand. I'm like, yeah, you cannot kiss him on his face. No. You can't. And nowhere near his mouth. Nope. Cannot do that at all. Okay? Next thing, babies know your heartbeat. That's why sometimes they cry for you. So daddy, get to hold your child a little bit more. So that child can get used to your heartbeat. Because he knows mommy's heartbeat. Because he laid in mommy's stomach for 9 months. So now if you want your child to get attached to you or to get to know you, hold him by your heart. Feed him by your heart. You understand? Let him hear you. Let them feel your heart, because they know their parents' heart rates. You think they don't, but they do. They know their parents' heart rates. Okay? They know their parents' touch. I'm not saying, that you have to be the original parent to do all these things or whatever. If you have adopted children or whatever, you still had them when they was young. You still raised them. They're getting used to your heart. They're getting used to the heartbeat. Because this is the heartbeat that feeds me, that's keeping me safe, that clothes me. So that child gets to know you. Just like how they know when people are mean to them as a kid. Every time this person come next to me, this happened, that happened. So I don't want to be around that person. Children are very sensitive. And if you want your infant to get close to you while you're feeding them, put them next to your heart so they can get used to hearing your heart. Okay, new mommies and daddies, that's what you have to do. Put them next to your heart. And then they'll grow close and closer to you. These are the things you have to do. What else? If you have a boy, ladies, you have to know how to clean their penis. You have to know how to pull it back and wipe it gently. You have to know how to clean the belly button before it drops off. You gently take some warm water with a little clear soap, nothing that has scent. This is a baby. Their skin is very sensitive. Yes, you can use the Johnson & Johnson or whatever. I'm not thinking, Johnson & Johnson going through problems right now. So let's scratch that. Scratch that. Using all natural. They going through problems right now. So you use something, baby, unscented, clean their belly button, real thing, make it sudsy and clean it. Then you take a cloth and you wipe it. The piggy, I call it the piggy, the penis. You pull it down because they still have a little foreskin or whatever, or if they don't, you clean it very gently. Okay, you wipe their piggy, you move it aside, they scrotums, you move it aside, and you clean it gently. Okay, then you lift it, you put their two legs together, lift their tuchus up, and you wipe their booty. You always make sure you clean their butt. And even if they peed, you always have to make sure that the front, the penis, and the vagina, and the booty is clean. Because remember, they're in diapers. So when they pee, the booty gets dirty too. So you don't just concentrate on the front. You clean the back also. You understand? Or you just drop them in the tub. The sink that we call the tub. Because, they fit in the sink. The kitchen sink. You understand? So you fill the thing. It's 5 minutes. It's not going to be long. Oh, well, I can just wipe them 5 minutes, and that cool water makes them feel lively. 5 minutes in the bath. 5 minutes. It's not. That's what you do. When you know you have to change their diaper, or if they did a number 2, you fill the kitchen sink with some warm water. And if it's summer, a little cool. Make sure the pipe is off. Don't have the pipe running and you got your child in there, because that water can turn hot. Because the neighbor upstairs can have their water. Next thing you know, you scalding your baby. You down in BCW. All right? Take the water off. Fill the sink with water. It depends on winter or summer, the temperature of the water. Take the water off. Push that thing aside just in case he grabs it and turns it on. Push it aside into the next sink. The double sinks that we be having in those apartment buildings. Push it in there, or in houses these days, because everybody got money these days. Everybody own a house. That's what I'm saying. You understand? So you push it aside, and you put him in there a quick 5 minutes. Wash him up. Do. Wash between his legs, his toes, his scrotum, his booty. You have everything right there. The towel, everything. 5 minutes. He's gonna want to stay in there. But no, you in, out, in, out, okay? Because he's enjoying that water. In, out, you got the towel, you pull him up, you put the towel, you hold him like that, you put the towel over him, you put him down, wipe him up real quick. He's going to start crying because he wants to go back in the water. You wipe him, open his legs, wipe the side. Because, little babies are chunky. So, they got the folds on the thing. So you have to peel open the creases, wipe them, because they cannot be moist down there. Get rashes. Your baby has to be totally dry when you put a diaper on them and their clothes. So babies are chunky, they mushy, they squishy, everything got folds, especially by their legs, because it's stiff. You understand? So you open the legs and wipe. Make sure it's dry. Make sure it's dry. Okay? Back in the day, I shouldn't tell you this, in order to make the legs so unstiff, I used to hold my son upside down. And then I used to take one leg, then an arm. And I would shake him. Not hard, but shake him. Because I'm stretching his legs. His legs were so stiff. Then I take both of his arms and stretch him. Then I take the other arm and the other leg and I stretch him. You understand? So his legs could become loose, because they so stiff. You gotta loosen them up. So I put him on the thing, dry him up. Now you gotta lotion him down. You cannot use any adult lotion. If you run out of lotion, Vaseline. But with the Vaseline, put it on. I just said make sure the skin is dry. Vaseline tends to dry out skins. Try not to use Vaseline too much. Okay, so you put some Vaseline on his feet and everything like that, on his hair, on his, around his body, just like you're putting on lotion. When you run out, because economics, you're young, you don't got that money to buy Vaseline and cream. or, so, but don't use your stuff on him. Baby skin are very sensitive. Do not use adult stuff on a baby. All right. So, but, a lot of people have Vaseline. So use the Vaseline because it has nothing in the Vaseline meaning petroleum jelly. You understand? Or if you don't have either, and if you have some olive oil in the cabinet, you can use that. Okay? Dare I say, if you don't have olive oil, you use regular cooking oil. You can do that too. But don't make it a habit. It's grease. You understand? So you can rub that on the baby's skin. If you don't have lotion. Okay? That. You have some talcum powder. You put it on him. Put it between his legs. And you put on the diaper. And you dress him and take him wherever you got to take him. You understand? So the baby can be comfortable. He's clean. He feels good, so now all he want to do is play. But you got to take him to a party down the block, and he number 2'd on himself, so you have to quick give him another bath. You understand? So that's what you do. Even when they pee, you always got to make sure the front and back is dry. Because urine is waste from the body. Okay? Urine is waste. So you don't want any of that on the baby's body, because it can soak back into the skin and cause damage. To the adults too. Urine when you wipe yourself as a grown woman, make sure you're dry. Same thing with babies. Do not forget about wiping the back, because when they pee, they laying down or sitting, and it's hitting the back too. So you have to clean the back and you have to clean the front. Make sure it's dry. You can have 2 towels. You have one dry, one wet. You take the wet one, wet one with soap, wet one without soap, and then the dry one. Then you dry them up to make sure that they dry. And that's what you do. Okay? When you have a baby shower, have that stuff you don't need. Have that stuff you don't, the bassinet, and you don't need all that. Because that baby grows so much. And let me tell you, you spend so much money on them cribs, and the baby end up on your bed. The baby end up on your bed because you're a new mom. Every minute you tired of going in the room or over to the crib, so you and your husband makes a little space in the middle for the kid or whatever. And in some instances, it's dangerous when the baby's too young for you to sleep with the baby. You understand? When they start moving around and stuff like that, they can move you or punch you and let you know that you're on them and stuff. And then, but otherwise, just leave them in the crib. But most of the time, as a new mother, you always in their face. Are they breathing? Me, I was always in my son's. I was always checking to see if he's breathing. And I'm like, is he breathing? I'm watching him. Like when I was working for corrections, they tell you got to make sure that the inmate is breathing. Some of them, they be clowning. They be waiting for you on the side of the door to scare you, because I worked the night shift and all that. But you got a certain amount of minutes to do the check, because you have to come back, check the bodies, tell the other officer, make sure the bodies go, because she or he got to go to lunch. So your time is things. So sometimes you did at the gate watching to see if the inmate is breathing. And I'm like, nigga, move your hand or something. So then sometimes they don't move, so I have to hit the gate. Then they get up, they cuss me out. What the fuck you waking me up for, CO? And I'm like, you wasn't moving. I don't know if you was breathing. You covered up from head to toe. I gotta know you're alive. You understand? So they cuss me out. I take the cuss out and I move to the next cell, and I keep it moving. The next morning they fucking want to complain, and she waking me up every fucking time she comes in. Fuck you. You're alive. So anyway, so as a mother, I used to just be checking on him all the time. So I got tired of that. So when he got old enough, I used to keep him on my bed. So all that money I spent for that pretty crib and the bassinet just went down the drain. So you don't need none of that. You just need a crib. That's it. You need a crib. That's it. And get one of those cribs that you can make it into a playpen or something like that. All right? So you don't always have to have both of them. You understand? As a young mom, you need to cover all the outlets, because now you have a toddler. Toddler are nosy. They are so nosy. I remember I was at work. I got a call from my mother that my son drank all the cod liver, the baby oil, and I'm having a panic attack. So I went to my boss. I'm like, I'm crying. He's like, what happened? I said, my son drank baby oil. He said, you can go, but nothing is happening to him. All he's going to do is get the runs, because it's baby oil. You understand? That he have to rub his skin. Yeah, he found himself in a cabinet. Then another time, I'm looking for him. He's in the toilet, just twiddling with the toilet water every minute. I got to wash his hand. I got to keep the toilet down. I got to keep the toilet door closed. Then I'm looking for him again. He's into the powder all over the place. Baby powder all over the bathroom. I'm like, my mother's on her way home. I'm going to have a fit. Yeah, so toddlers, they get into everything. So you have to watch them. Okay, you got to lock doors. You got to lock cabinets. You got to get those little locks that locks cabinets. You got to take the little things, push them in the socket. So, because they stick their little finger in there because they nosy. You understand? They nosy. When you're cooking, they want to touch the stove. Let them touch it. They're going to be like, they won't touch it again. Don't tell people I said get your kids burnt up. I'm just saying, things without, because you can't stop them. You cooking and he's there watching the oven, and he wants to touch. He ain't touch it again because that jammy was hot. I said, okay, good. You satisfied? Are you curious anymore about the oven? Then they're curious because they want to see what you're doing all the time. So this is a time where you can teach your infant about how to cook, because they know things. You understand? And how to feed themselves. You understand? And what they use to feed themselves. You understand? And that's how you build a rapport with your child. Infants. From stage 1. When my son started school, what I used to do is put stickies all over the house so he can learn what it is and how to spell it. Door, fridge, book, things like that. That's what I used to do. And when he started going to school by himself, I would show him the stop sign, the signal light, and teach him like that. And then while he was walking, I would count with him. So I'm killing 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm teaching him how to count, and I'm teaching him how to know when to cross. Don't cross when no cars is coming, because he's going to be confused. Even if no cars is coming and that light says don't walk, because you're going to confuse them. Wait till the light turn, whatever. Then you show him the color, green. Then he walks. Then you walk with him. Okay? Don't show him how to jaywalk, because it's going to confuse him or her. Okay? So those are the things that you do. When they're walking up the steps, we teach them how to count. 1, 2, 3. And so on and so forth. Anything that you're doing, make it a learning moment. I used to let him watch. I used to monitor everything my son watches. Sesame Street was the thing back then. And I used to put him and watch Sesame Street. I monitored everything. If something comes on that I didn't like, I would not let him watch it. I would let him watch Channel 13, the children's station back in the days. And that's it. and my favorite star. He started off in children thing. You understand? Because people don't understand why I like him so much, but I do, because I grew up with him. My son grew up with him. You understand? And he was on children's education show, and I know, and I grew up with him. My son grew up with him, and that's why I love him so much as the best actor on earth. I mean, with Tom Cruise and stuff like that. So watch what your child put in their brain, because other people is raising your kid if you just throw them in front of the TV. Now they got all kind of crap on TV. I'm not gonna get into it because I don't want to offend, but you have to know what you want your child to learn, because if you don't teach your child, other people will. Because people who wants to get a point across aim for children. They aim for children because the youth is going to grow up. Because you cannot change an adult's mind, but you can mold a child's. So a lot of groups and a lot of people, when they want something accomplished, they aim for the child, because the child is growing up, and you can teach them what you want them to like. You can teach them what you want them to understand. So you don't have, if you know you want your child to have certain kind of faith or whatever, you make sure you know what your child is listening to and what your child is watching. Don't just be happy that they sitting over there watching a gun-toting show and whatever, and then he grow up want a gun. When my son was young, he never had a gun toy. He never had a water pistol, nothing. When my friend Wani invited me to Coney Island, because she lived out there, she said they having water pistol fights or whatever, and I told her straight up, I don't allow my son to have a water pistol as a toy. She was like, wow, is this a toy? No, it's not just a toy. He is a black child, and I'm not going to teach him about using a gun, water gun or not. No. The games he was playing did not have any guns in it until he was a teenager. So I couldn't help it, because every game that they made had some kind of shooting or whatever. But at that time, I taught him that the rights and wrongs of guns. You understand? Even when I was an officer, I didn't want a gun. You understand? I see some of these new officers, they run to get a gun. I'm like, no. I just use a gun at work, and that's it. Personal life, I don't want to be involved. I don't want to have one. One of my best friends, who was an officer, he died because he went to a club and somebody was trying to rob somebody, and they pulled out a gun, and he had his gun on him, and the person shot him, and he didn't even know the person that was getting robbed, and he got killed. You understand? So I don't like having the gun. I mean, it's your right or whatever, but in my house, no, I was not teaching or having my child around something that can later on affect his life. Okay. And school trips, try to attend one or two. I know you're busy, but you got to make time for your child. Try to bring up your child good, so when the child go disciplined, so when the child does go to school, they don't have to give these teachers problems. Yeah, they're a princess to you, and you let them get away with murder, but then they're not a princess to the teacher. They hold up the class. So you have to bring up your child in a way that they respect authority. My union leader told me, he's like, you don't have to like them, but you got to respect them. Talking about my other supervisors. You understand? You don't have to like the teacher or whatever. If you don't like the teacher, go to school meetings once in a while. I I was a school parent president for 8 years. 7 years, sorry. And some of these parents used to get on my nerves. They come in class, and before they know anything, they cursing out the teacher. And I'm like, did you bother even asking the teacher what's wrong? Oh, she's just a teacher. She's not supposed to be talking to my child like that. Okay, well, discipline your goddamn child at home. Let that child know authority. The teacher is not in here to come tell your child shut up 6 and 7 times, holding up the class, and everybody wants to learn except him or her. And if you send them out, you want to argue. Discipline your child. Yes, your child is precious to you. Your child is a princess and a king to you. But they have to know, they have to get some home training when they're in class. Is a certain way they have to act, because they're holding up their education. They're holding up other people's education. That's what they're doing. And it's showing on what a spoiled brat they is and what a lousy parent that you are. Giving your child everything is not a parent. No. I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of, because my son is the only child, but I'm not guilty of not disciplining my child to respect authority or respect teachers. No. So you have to raise your child. If you don't want somebody disciplining your child, you have to discipline your child and show them that authority. When you're in school, you got to act a certain way. I saw a video the other day. This child went around throwing stuff down, and God, she was terrible. She was like, what, 6? A black child. And I'm like, my God. And the teacher couldn't do nothing, because previous times when the teacher did do something, because the teacher didn't want to touch the child, she would call the principal, or she would call police for the police station to handle it, because they don't want any accusations. Oh, why she called the police on my child? What do you want the woman to do? Because if she held the child by the child's hand and sat him down or sat her down, you would say child abuse. What is the teacher supposed to do? Stay there all day and babysit your brat child that you can't even discipline? I remember one of my supervisors brought their child into my area to discipline, and when I tried to discipline them, they didn't want me to do it. They took me off the post, because he's in there acting stupid, want to call me out my name, want to make noise. He's on the gate all the time. They brought him in there for me to discipline him, because they heard good things about me. And when I discipline him by not letting him do certain things, making him go in and out of cells on certain times that he's supposed to, here they come. Here they come. Meanwhile, I didn't know it was their child until he told me something, and then they pop up, and they took me off my post. The mother and the father was officers. One was a captain, and one was a dep. Oh no, we taking you off the post, officer. I'm like, what? I couldn't believe it. She said, yeah. And then I figured out, I looked at the name, I said, oh. You understand? I said, next time, keep your brat out of here, because they couldn't handle their child. That's why he was in jail, in and out of jail. They couldn't handle him. So they was a captain and a dep, and instead of them letting me do my job, they parenting kicked in. Oh, now your fucking parenting kicked in? I'm not saying that they was bad parents because he's in jail, because a lot of officers' children end up in jail. You understand? And they're not bad parents. But I'm saying, if you heard good things about me, that I know how to discipline my guys, why don't you just let me discipline them? It's not like I'm going to kill him or something. I'm just going to not let him have certain things that he wants and not supposed to have. You understand? And let him respect authority. Get off my gate. But no. So anyway, they took me off my post. So you have to discipline your children, because the schools right now is, I'm sorry to say, a lot of kids are just getting passed on, because they don't want to be bothered. It's back to the old things. I remember when I was little, parents was fighting for their children to get an education. You understand? And if they're not getting an education, to hold them back or whatever. Now parents are fighting for their kids, even not disciplined, even though they don't know the stuff in the class or whatever. They want their kids passed because it's too embarrassing for their child to be left back. You understand? So you got to put some time into your kid. Get a tutor or whatever. Let them stay after school. But you got to put some time into your kids. You cannot just send them to the schools and have these and want a teacher to act like a parent. No, that's your job. And if you don't want to be called up, discipline your kids. Children these days are horrible. They're terrible to these teachers. Horrible. I couldn't be a teacher. And I used to work with them because, like I said, I was PTA president for 7 years, and I had to work with the PT. I had to work with teachers president and teachers union president and stuff like that. I had to. And sometimes after work, I would just walk around the school from class to class and see what's going on. Because I was a parent, so I had to report to parents on, what happened and whatever. So I had to go walk to see if the teacher's doing what they're doing and seeing if some of the stuff that they were saying is true or not. I would just pop up, especially to my son's class. My son was a class clown, you understand? So I told the teacher, put him in the front. And that's what she did. And he started learning. Yeah, he wants to be funny. All right. Be funny in the front. So, that's how to raise babies, and that's how to, try to take care of your child. If you have any questions, Miss December, you have any questions you want to ask? I'm asking the guest. No? Okay. So, if you have a child of baby age to, up, that's what you have to do in order to have an easy parenthood. All right, so thank you for showing up, and I'm gonna have another class some other time, no time soon, unless it's asked, and then I'll tell you some other stuff that you can do, with teenagers and things like that. But everybody take care. Thanks for joining, and I appreciate all of you, all my members. I got 90 members, yo. I'm saying I'm moving on up like George and Weezy. Yes, I'm doing it the organic way. I want to see who likes me. I mean, probably half of them don't like me. They probably just want to see what I'm doing. But at least I got a good solid 45 who likes me. I got a good solid 45 people who likes me with the 90 members that's my followers. So you have a great day. I'm going to eat my food because I'm hungry. And I think I scheduled myself for another live. I'm trying to remember the topic in about 15-20 minutes. So you can join that also. Have a great day and enjoy your Saturday. Bye.